Update. I just found out my fiance is a liar, but I'm supposed to marry her in 2 weeks. Part 4.
Oh man, this story has been a whirlwind.
Oh, it is just we've just dumped.
Do we have a
Literally 3
TLDR for if someone's just joining us on this one?
We do. This is a continuation / update from the previous story. TLDR from the last week's story, if you weren't around to hear that. So OP catches his fiance, Sarah, helping her sister, Evelyn, keep an ongoing affair secret from Evelyn's husband, Marty, the brother-in-law. Now OP questions whether he can even marry Sarah with this new knowledge. So OP helps Marty, the brother-in-law, gather evidence of his wife, Evelyn's cheating. They found out who the affair partner is and gather all the evidence Marty needs to confront his wife. OP is not there for the actual confrontation, so we don't get the details. But OP then goes on to go home to confront his own fiance, who finds him comforting Evelyn, the cheater. The details are hazy, but heated words and tears are exchanged, and now OP is by himself with his phone blowing up. OP provides details of the confrontation in the update, and OP shares the confrontation with his wife. When he went home to confront his wife, Sarah, she was comforting Evelyn. OP played dumb at first, but eventually revealed that he knew about it all along and was canceling the wedding with Sarah. Before Sarah could even fully respond, Evelyn put 2 and 2 together to figure out that OP is the one who told the brother-in-law Marty about the affair, and she literally attacks OP. OP calls the cops. The cops end up taking Evelyn away. Sarah tries to play dumb and salvage the relationship, but OP is having none of it. Sarah also tries to accuse OP of being unfaithful for looking at an OnlyPans account, but it turns out it was actually something his brother looked at while borrowing OP's devices during a visit. Sarah tries to get all their parents involved to see if OP will change his mind, but OP stands firm. He also finds out that Sarah is the one who bailed Evelyn out of jail, because remember, she attacked him. OP is certain that the wedding is off, but he has had a long talk with Sarah where they both open up a lot about the history of their relationship. The future status of them is up in the air, according to OP, but he has no plans on getting married to Sarah. On to the update.
Oh man, that's a long TLDR.
That's
a long TLDR.
I mean, there's a lot of things that happen.
There's a lot of juice to squeeze.
All right, so now we're getting into the true update.
If you had to give that TLDR in one sentence, what would you say?
OP confronts the cheating sister-in-law, but realizes in the process he has to dump his wife.
Yeah, because the wife is kind of an ally to the cheating sister-in-law. Cheating ally.
Maybe more.
And no kids.
Yeah. And now we're like into this scenario where she's kind of saying like, oh, but you looked on like Spicy Fan's account. So like there is a suspicion that maybe she cheated because she was like, oh, like I have a get out of jail free card because you were already looking at Spicy Fans.
She's helping cheaters.
Yeah. But it's actually his brother that looked at that.
The evidence is stacked against her, potentially. But let's find out. So I honestly hope everyone can follow this because sometimes I can't. By the way, this comes from OneTop3934 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I have a friend, Marty, who is currently engaged in a bitter divorce from his wife. She was caught cheating over a month ago, and I was one of the people who helped expose her, so there's a bit of history there. They also have a young child who is living with the husband and being taken care of by his parents when he is at work. Now, here's where people are going to have to start keeping score. The soon-to-be ex-wife in the situation is actually the sister of my former fiancée, Sarah. We are currently in it's complicated type of relationship. Oh, it is very complicated. 2 days ago, she comes to me and says that she heard her sister and parents conspiring to falsely accuse him of something that would allow for an emergency custody hearing.
Oh, false, because she's going to lose custody of the kids because of infidelity or something.
So they're like, hey, let's all agree. Let's lie in court so we can get custody.
That's messed up. Wow, this is starting so messed up.
Yeah. So she wants my help in turning the tables on her sister. And yes, there is some bitterness here. Like I said, it's complicated. Now, even though she is my former fiance, I think Sarah is a good person and is interested in helping, but I also wonder if she's trying to rope me into the situation to prove that she hates her sister. You see, the sister was an accessory to one of the main reasons why Sarah is my former fiance. My gut instinct is to tell her to just inform Marty and his attorney about what is going on and to just wipe their hands of the situation. However, she's urging me to help entrap her sister in some way so that way she can turn evidence over to Marty so he can play the highly coveted, at least in divorces, Uno reverse card. And again, to clarify, it basically looks like Sarah, the ex-fiance, is trying to get back into OP's good graces, whereas before she was helping the cheater. Now she's trying to conspire to like ruin the cheater's chances in court.
Right. Which is good.
I think she's good.
Well, I think she's just trying to do whatever she can to, because like when, as I remember, when OP was like, "Hey, this is not going to work," like she was totally like, she freaked out, and she's doing everything she can to get back into OP's good graces so she could be the fiance again, because he called off the engagement.
Exactly.
So I think it's still good, but is she actually changing?
Yeah.
Or is she just doing it to appease OP? I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I mean, this could just reignite everything else that they've been going through.
Yeah.
So her most convincing argument is that this opportunity will probably not come again, and I agree with that. But assuming for the moment that I actually could help in some way, would I be the a-hole for doing so? Particularly since my motivation is basically just being leery of Sarah's motivation. After all, she could theoretically just testify on Marty's behalf if it came to that. And we're getting into the next part of the update, which might hold the court case where they lie in court, perjure themselves.
So just so I understand really quick. So the sister-in-law that cheated and her parents are going to lie in court and like basically all come together on a story that they can lie in court to the point where Marty gets in trouble, so there's an emergency custody hearing, and he potentially could get his children taken away.
Yes, potentially.
And OP's ex-fiance, but like current excomplicated girlfriend, is going to like testify to the opposite of that and ensure Marty is not, I don't know, screwed over by whatever custody hearing is happening. That's what we know so far.
It seems like she's pitching that idea to OP.
Right.
And seems like it's what she's leaning towards doing. Yeah.
Okay. Again, that seems pretty good. That seems pretty good.
And I guess, oh my gosh.
Bimbo Mandy. What was it? Bimbo wife Mandy?
Bimbo
wife Mandy, that we did a deep dive on their Instagram.
You did a deep dive, my friend. Don't rope me into this. Don't rope me,
John.
We are committed,
mostly John
men.
for some reason.
Wow. I literally just protected you there. Wow.
Yeah, I do remember John just like really we actually had to wipe off his phone afterward because there was like drool or something.
Oh yeah, I put $500 or was it $250 into it? Yeah, I think it was one of those figures.
And it was just like I want to help like this new wife, like with her marriage. Yeah, he's such a man of the
great
people.
guy.
Watch the last episodes. Yeah, you'll see the truth. Anyways, but yes, that's what's happening. It's looking bad. And we don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, we never know.
Except we do.
Oh, we do?
There is an update.
All right, let's get into this update.
So, sorry this update took so long to get around to. But to be blunt, after the chaos that happened initially starting to calm down and my state of hypervigilance started to dwindle, I found myself sinking into a deep depressive funk that sapped most of my will to do almost anything, and recounting the crap show that is my life became really, really unappealing. However, the date for the wedding has now come and gone, and I'm on vacation with my siblings and my brother's family and starting to really feel like most of this is behind me. But anyways, on to the updates. First off, since this is the thing that seems to really bother people, my brother and his wife are doing fine. Like I said in my last post, I urged my brother to tell Karen about this. What do I call this? Spicy texting.
Yeah, this was like the OnlyFans bimbo wife Mandy thing.
And the side plot was, should OP basically tattle on his brother because his brother was doing the OnlyFans stuff with Bimbo
big old,
Mandy.
big old Mandy.
Whatever that was.
Yeah.
No free sponsors.
Like John doesn't remember.
Yeah. You've recreated it from memory. You've done a charcoal sketch of every single nook, cranny, and detail.
I will admit I was thorough in my investigation.
You were studying for research.
I was thorough in my investigation. Well, because I
Studying for
wanted to
research.
see if Bimbo Wife Mandy had always been as bodacious as she is in the present, and she was not. In 2006, she was a completely different woman.
But today,
Today,
Riley just pulled it up on our screen.
A very conservative picture of her.
It is, dare I say, the most conservative picture we
that
could
is-
probably
she-
find.
Most respectful picture I could find of
Yeah,
her.
the most
she is
respectful.
fully clothed.
Yep. But they ain't
Yes.
hiding.
They ain't. I mean,
They ain't hiding, man.
But back to our lady in question. I urged my brother to tell Karen, his wife, about the spicy texting with the Australian OnlyPans girl known as Bimbo Wife Mandy.
woo! I mean,
Bimbo Wife Mandy.
Yep. Do
Happily
God's
married, by
work.
the way.
Happily
She's
married.
Happily
Happily married.
Wife is in Bimbo Wife Mandy. She puts in there. So, whom, by the way, is a very lovely person. Sam would know. I sort of hinted in my last update that I had gotten confirmation from Mandy to back up my brother's story, and according to her, the timelines have matched up, and not only that, but his OnlyPans account no longer exists. In other words, Bimbo Wife Mandy herself confirmed that he stopped engaging in that.
Oh, wow.
That the
one of
brother
her
stopped
most
engaging in that.
loyal simps.
That's right.
Dang, dude. It's like throwing away $500 a month.
Yeah.
Now, she could be lying to me to protect a customer, but I don't think that's the case because she seemed like a genuine person. Sam would also know. My brother, for his
Bimbo
part,
Wife Mandy wouldn't lie to me
dude,
when she spicy texts me that like she loves me and only me, and she's gonna leave her husband for me one day.
if this episode gets
It's just another $500.
if this episode gets 100,000 likes, we will try to find Bimbo Wife Mandy for her and Sam to do a very a friend date. You know, like go out, get some dinner.
We'll have
go
her
to
on the
your-
podcast. We'll have her on the podcast.
We'll have her on the podcast,
Have her on the
but it'll just be
podcast.
her and Sam, and it'll be like candles and like a thing. But
And her husband will be there watching.
Yeah,
but
so-
not in like a cucky way, but just like in a regular.
right of totally normal
way.
Yeah, but he will
Yeah.
be sitting in the corner watching.
yeah.
in
matter
the
what.
closet.
In a
There's a
normal
closet right there,
Yeah.
peeking behind the curtain.
So 100,000 likes, you guys know what to do.
Yeah.
My brother, for his part, did tell his wife what had happened in one of their marriage counseling sessions, and according to him, she took it pretty well and is treating it as water under the bridge.
All right.
Okay. I did pull her aside last week and ask if she was really okay with this, and she told me, I'll have to paraphrase a bit, OP, we're not as squeaky clean as you think. Both of us watch spicy videos, and that's basically what I consider this to be. It's not like he was going to run off and have an affair with her. I asked her if she would feel the same way if he had visited a spicy worker. It's legal where they live. Wow, I didn't know that. Aren't you from Australia?
I mean, yes, but I visited family, not Bimbo Wife Mandy. I swear.
Could you say that one more time, Samuel Donner?
You were there. Wait, how long were you there for in Australia?
How long was I there for?
Yeah.
Like 6 months.
Mm,
My most recent stint.
it's a long time
Okay, this investigation passes.
to accomplish some big things.
This investigation passes.
Oh man.
So, I guess that's their clear line. It's a bit different from mine, and a lot of people really loud people on Reddit. But if the noises I heard coming from their hotel room last night are any indication, they're doing just fine, and their dead bedroom situation is totally resolved. Honestly, those two are borderline taking advantage right now. Since my sister is taking the place of Sarah, they switched rooms with her, and now the kids are with her, and they are both little girls and love having a sleepover with their auntie, and they have 2 babysitters who are happy to take the kids while they run off and do Lord knows what. We know what, but let's not talk about it. Overall, I think I did the right thing in giving him the space to make this right on his own, even though people hounded me for it, which is what we also suggested.
But we literally our
Throughout the whole
whole
thing.
thing is like, hey, tell her so I don't have to.
Exactly.
You know?
We said that from the beginning.
We said
for
it
the
from the
first
beginning.
situation.
We're so smart.
We're geniuses.
We're better than your therapist.
better.
Better. Listen to ditch your therapist. Listen to us.
Therapy husband Sam.
Yep. Yep.
That's Sam's username.
Yep.
Somewhere.
They're
Look it up.
You get
Bimbo
all the needs in
therapist
one
Sam.
place.
What is the therapy? You got to find out. That'll be $5.99 a month, please. Now, I will strongly argue that the situation with my brother and the situation with Evelyn were like comparing night and day. I don't agree that cybering, spicy cyber videos with someone you know is professional spicy work, is anywhere near the same ballpark in actively carrying on an affair, and I don't think my actions and how I dealt with it were anything close to how Sarah did. Like I said, because basically people were like, you're a total hypocrite because you expose Evelyn over here, but you don't expose your brother over here. That was the big debate.
Yeah, but it was also different. It was completely different situations, and also OP gave it time so the brother could do it themselves.
This is true, which again, we suggested from the beginning. Like I said in my previous post, she not only hid the affair from Marty, she actively engaged in disparaging conversations about him and said several other things that I won't recount here for various reasons. Suffice it to say, I feel good about this choice on my part, and people who don't agree with me can put their heads in an oven for all I care.
Wow. OP,
That's pretty
aggressive.
extreme.
That's extreme.
My goodness.
Yep, and not in some motorboats.
But anyways, next up, I think, is the wedding itself. Remember the wedding that he had to call off. There isn't much to say here. Sarah and I and our families lost our shirt on it, but that was to be expected. I forced the caterer who ordered all that food to either give me back a bigger refund or give me the food, and she chose the latter, which is fair enough.
Oh, wow.
We have a lot of frozen steak, chicken, and fish. It was delivered to my parents' house, and I think they are passing it out to interested parties. Likewise, hey, that's free protein.
Yeah.
Okay? That's precious commodities right there.
I remember
would
when
know.
Jim and Pam called off their wedding, they had frozen food, wedding food for like months.
True.
Yeah.
Likewise, some wedding gifts from far away relatives arrived and are at my house until we can send them back. Oh wow, they're even sending back the gifts. That's I feel like I'd just be like, just keep it, bro. Like you got
rough.
that.
Yeah.
Well, it would be like 3 microwaves in your house.
Great. Give me 3 microwaves.
Yeah, dude, he could sell those on Facebook Marketplace. Be up.
Be rich.
Be so up.
Be a rich boy and a sad boy.
He's a rich boy.
Ooh. But overall, the date just came and passed, and for the sake of both of our sanities, Sarah and I spent it apart. As for the issue with Marty and Evelyn, I don't think this is something that is going to be settled anytime soon. Marty is absolutely divorcing Evelyn, but it's difficult for him primarily because she's making it difficult by begging him to reconsider. On top of that, school is starting again, and so Marty will be back with his students instead of taking care of their daughter every day. I think it's really hurting him now because spending every day with his parents and his kid was really helping him mentally. Also, despite what some people have wished for, Marty hasn't made a big stink about this at Evelyn's work, which I would like a poll, tell work or not.
Oh, you don't need to tell work. That's not in your court. You don't tell
What
work.
does chat have to say?
Chat, you can't say tell work.
Do you want to
Telling
tell work,
work-
chat?
Telling work is crazy.
Do you want to tell work, chat?
No, don't tell work, chat.
Wait, what's your vote, John?
I'm also on nah. I would not tell work, but I want to hear what chat.
Chat,
has to say. I want to hear comments in chat.
Of course, chat's gonna tell work. Oh, okay.
100% nah.
Oh,
Maybe.
I voted for us.
Oh.
Dang it!
Okay.
We will
I was
see.
about to say.
Put your votes in now. Despite the fact that he probably could get them both fired since it became obvious they were using work trips to try and hook up on the company dime.
Yes, even so, but like I don't know. I feel like that's like, who cares about corporate America? You know?
It's okay to hook up on the company
So
dime.
you're telling me if a Wiley Rilson, a fictitious employee of our enterprise, took our company credit card, went to Bermuda,
Yeah, or
and
Medellin.
with some floozy,
or another employee.
Kimbo wife Brandy, let's call her, would that not be worth telling the bosses?
If you had a relationship with the bosses, but like someone random, I don't know.
So Wiley would have to hook up with someone, let's say Pam,
Like an
and
employee.
that would be worthy of telling work.
like a coworker,
Yeah, if it was,
a really awesome coworker.
I'm a little confused now, but I think you have a duty to tell someone if you have a relationship with that person. But but
work is growing.
No, but we've also said, like, even if you don't know the person, like, just like doing an anonymous tip could be helpful.
Don't involve yourself, basically.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess if you're stealing from the company or so, that could be something. I don't think I would do it. I don't think I would do it unless it was like a small business or something, or I knew the people.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Also, this is still the mother of your children. Wait, they have children, right?
Ooh, yeah. The sister-in-law and the husband do have children together.
Yep. So, do you really want to take away the livelihood of your children?
I don't know if I want to take the livelihood away.
Well, we'll see.
And chat agrees. Chat says most of you guys say nah.
So far, we haven't seen what's coming up next. Nor has Marty gone and told Jake's wife about the affair either, something I strongly disagree with. When I questioned him about it, all he said is that he's in no big hurry. After all, he has the text messages, the photos from the pub, and the video he took when he entered the house. Basically, he could bury this guy whenever he wants to. I think in some kind of twisted way, hippy-dippy Marty, the Birkenstock-wearing teacher, no free sponsors, is enjoying making this guy sweat it out. Which is at least understandable.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you tortured me. It's my turn.
Yeah. So like, he's basically like, he wants to hold over the possibility of this guy losing his job because that's almost worse than just losing it.
Yeah. He's basically every day he wakes up and he's like, is this the day it's all going to burn to the ground? Well, his wife too.
Yeah.
That's a bit, yeah. So either that or maybe he's enjoying making Evelyn fully realize her place in the world. Just a side piece to a married man.
Ooh.
Cold-blooded, Marty.
Ooh.
I'm not sure, but Marty has definitely gotten a bit darker over this whole thing. Not that I can blame him. Everything I know about Evelyn is secondhand from Sarah, but the way I understand it, she is largely just going to work and coming straight back to her parents' house every day like a teenager on curfew. I don't think they're pleased with either of their daughters right now, but oddly enough, even though the implosion of Saren and mine's wedding was extremely public, I think it's being drowned out by the constant drama that is in Evelyn's impending divorce. Sarah said it almost seemed like they forgot about her once they realized that Marty was seriously taking steps to divorce Evelyn and they're concerned about having access to their granddaughter. I sort of get that. They are very doting grandparents, and I'm sure their anger at Evelyn is compounded by the fact that the access to their grandchildren is going to be essentially cut in half. We've seen grandparents go crazy over those grandbabies. We've seen it before. Lying in court would be a first, though. That would be a first in OK Storytime history.
Dude, I did not realize like how big grandbaby fever was until this pod.
Grandparental rights.
Yep, grandparental rights.
It's real.
It's a real thing,
it
which
exists.
we did not believe exists, but it is.
But it's true. There's so many legal things we thought were like that can't be real, and it's like, oh, that is very real. Yeah. Now on to the big event. Sarah and I. First off, I don't think that this update is likely to make anyone happy, not the people who urged me to yeet her out of my life, nor the people whose demands I treat her with sympathy and compassion for her obviously screwed up mental issues. Oh my goodness. The facts are the asides from the lying and hiding the affair. What shook me the most was probably the way she carried on with her sister in those text messages. Maybe people would understand me better if I shared them, but I simply refuse to repeat it, and I don't want to get into arguments over their content. Suffice it to say, it was enough for me to reconsider Sarah's complete character, which is largely where I'm at today, still considering it. That's not to say that we are still together, definitely not in the way when we were an engaged couple, but we haven't completely closed the door on the relationship either. I've come to understand a bit more about what kind of person Sarah is and which parts of her are genuine and which parts are facsimile constructed in order for her to ingratiate herself to people, her sister included. Basically, it helps to be able to put a name to what's going on with her. This people-pleasing behavior, because remember how she was like so people-pleasing, it's like, oh, I'll go along and aid my sister in her cheating endeavors.
And it was because of the dynamic of, like, we also got like a history of that dynamic between them where she always felt that if she didn't do what her sister wanted, she would, like, her sister would go crazy on her.
Yes, it was like from child to like kind of baked into her software, basically. so we heard. Her family, with copious examples, were told me, and it further helps that she is actively seeking help for all this. On top of that, even though I found her behavior extremely gross and inappropriate, I give her a lot of credit for how she dealt with the situation when I came home that night to find her and Evelyn on our couch. She didn't lie, she didn't minimize, she largely took accountability for what she did. Remember, at the time, she didn't know that I had seen her text messages with Evelyn, and she definitely could have tried to omit her participation or minimize it in some way, but she didn't, because when OP caught them, he was basically playing dummy to see
How
if
much,
she would
yeah,
lie or what, and she
didn't lie.
She basically told everything, that he asked. She was truthful to me even when she knew it would make her look bad. This actually counts for a lot in my book, which is why I'm looking at simply changing the chapter instead of closing it. To be clear, this isn't victory for the forgive her and blame everything on your sister crowd, because frankly, I haven't forgiven her and our situation is very different now. She has moved back into her old room at her parents' house, much like Evelyn, although Sarah will probably be out of there in a couple of weeks because she says the environment is not good for her mental health and getting help with her issues. I can't imagine it would be. And I am paying back her equity in the house in bi-weekly installments out of my pay until we're all caught up, which will help her defray the cost of getting an apartment on her own. We are definitely not together right now, quote unquote. Sarah really did not want to accept this at first, and I can see her point of view, even be sympathetic to it. But also, if she really has these emotional problems, and it appears she does, then I felt like that pushing the issue could be the way to light a fire under her pants to get her to finally seek some real help for them, and just forgiving her would be tantamount to sweeping everything under the rug, which in the long run would spell disaster for our relationship, which I think I agree with. Like, it did force her to actually confront, do therapy, take time separate away, and work on all this stuff.
Yeah, and she has been working.
She has been working.
And I feel like everything from the initial, it's it feels like after the initial discovery of the bad behavior, everything since then has actually been pretty good behavior.
Yeah. Once she realized how severe her relationship with her sister was, she turned it right around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with that being said, break up or not right now on the spot.
If it was me, I would not break up.
Not break up.
But I think I'd still call off the engagement.
Smart.
Yeah. What if you were evil Sam?
What if I was evil Sam?
Jam.
I would break up, and then I would tell every one of her exes her evil deeds of helping cheaters, and then I would make posters, and I would put up her face and say, this person helps cheaters. If you want to cheat, call this number, and I would put her number everywhere, and then I would put it on every door in the town. And then people would start calling her number, and either it would be people wanting to go cheat with someone else or people wanting to cheat with her.
Whoa.
And so she would be bombarded by messages, and then she'd have to change her phone number. But then I would find that phone number using a public data check thing, and then I would do it again and again. And then eventually I would hire college kids to just put those posters up for free, and they would just do it as an internship, and I would build an empire of putting this photo everywhere. I would do it in every city. I would do it in every country. I would make sure that I would have SOPs for this, and then it would be little communes in every major city in every country around the world. And I wouldn't stop until I died.
Would you get with her sister too?
Yep, that too.
Ladies, don't cheat on Sam.
No, that was bad, Sam.
This is a warning.
That was bad, Sam. Not
You've
nice,
been
Sam.
warned. He lives in there under the happy flower on his chest. Is a dark brooding soul.
Sam.
But back to OP. He says, I really wish that she had opened up to me earlier about all of this before this all hit the fan, because I'd much rather handle the problem as a loving partner and support her more closely. But she really didn't give me the opportunity to do that, which is a shame. So this is the best I can do at this point. So basically, my situation is more or less a wait and see on the Sarah front. Maybe one or both of us will get tired of this and completely throw in the towel and move on completely. It could almost certainly be me, but frankly, I've no desire to further complicate my life by being intimate with any other women right now. So I think, if anything, we're looking at a period of months down the line until we get a firm resolution, one way or another on this front, and frankly, I'm fine with that. Not everything needs to be progress at a hyper-emotional breakneck pace, and if I look at my situation, I'm fine. Financially, we're separated. We're not living together anymore. I'm cautiously cynical about the entire situation. And I'm also not kidding myself. If at any point I think that Sarah's issues are too big of a deal, or that I can't see us rebuilding trust with each other, then I'll dip. OP will freaking cut and leave. I have no interest in prolonging a situation that I see as hopeless, which I guess says it all. I don't think it's hopeless. I just think it's going to be difficult, and I'm open to waiting a bit to see how it plays out, to the point even where I am seeking my own counselor to help me process the events of the last few weeks, as well as looking into how Sarah and I interacted with each other, because I do actually believe that while I might have been fooled by her, it was partially a willing deception on my part, because who wouldn't love a girlfriend who never disagrees with him? Because remember, we were questioning OP because he's like, well, she was a people pleaser, but she was pleasing me. So I didn't really ask about it.
Yeah, no,
For 6 years.
It's crazy how little he knew about her. You know? That was a red flag in the last one.
It was absolutely. See, OP's not getting out scot free.
Yeah.
Here.
Like, what do you do when you go home? Just do your own thing?
He just sits and the wife is just like cooking, turning on the TV, like
giving foot massages.
Oh, would you like another drink, sir? That's what's happening in there. Always wants to do what they do and goes out of their way to make sure you're happy before she is, type of person. The thing I am struggling with, and maybe Sarah as well, is how much of that is genuine love she has for me and how much of it is just a deeply ingrained need to please other people born out of her fear of rejection or anxiety. That is a
beautiful mix of both, probably.
An important and deep question. By the way, you know what else is important and deep?
Tell me.
Our catalog.
Yeah.
Specifically, our catalog of audio episodes. If you want to listen to full episodes with stories just like this, go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcasts, go to your favorite podcast app, search OK Storytime, and you'll find the longest, deepest catalog of 1,900 episodes that you can listen to us for eternity.
And you can listen while you're cooking, while you're cleaning, while you're working, while you're like trying to listen to your boss. Really don't want to, so you just listen to us instead. Like you could do it
while you're
anywhere.
While you're perjuring yourself in court.
Treeks.
Anything.
Yeah.
People have done it. They've told us.
People have done it. We have had cheek clappers.
Yes.
There we go. Cheek clappers on the pod before.
But cheek clappers aside, Sam,
Yep.
in
Put
our
those
amazing
cheeks to
long,
the
deep
side.
catalog, we have just a teensy morsel left in the story.
Yeah.
But where are we feeling about to reach the finish line?
Where am I feeling we're about to reach the finish line? Yeah, I feel like OP is gonna stay with his boo.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like there's enough change. So I guess we'll
and it
see
seems
that
like
happens.
OP's mind state has been like just wait and see. In all of the waiting period, she has done positive things in that time.
Yeah.
So I feel like it might take a long time, but I feel like he will ultimately eventually come back to her, whether we see it here or not. Could be years. But
Could be years.
I think I agree. I think that's what OP's going to do. Let us know in the comments what you think he's going to do. But let's get into the last little morsel of this
let's eat it up.
four-part series.
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up.
So, I guess barring throwing in the towel, when we reach the bottom of that question, we will know the answer to Sarah and mine's relationship. I know it's not the update that everyone wanted, but that's all I got. Maybe check this space in a few months and we'll see how it plays out. Once again, thanks to everyone who sent me supportive messages, and a pox on the rest of you. Lol.
A pox.
So you guys thought we were ending the series here.
No.
You're freaking wrong.
No way. We
We've
will
got
never
more.
leave. We will be in your ears all the live long day.
And maybe we'll
be
stick
coming
around.
in your mountain.
Whoa.
Coming around your mountain.
You have been
Coming
spending
in and around your
with
mountain.
too much time with Mrs. Wife Mandy.
Yep. Bimbo
Okay.
wife Mandy and her mountains.
That's too much
Which
time.
I always want to be coming around.
You gotta
Or Twin Peaks.
reel
We'll
it
be
back,
coming
brother.
around the mountain when she comes.
See, now when you're saying
Yeehaw.
that,
we'll
it
be
just ruins
coming
the song.
around the mountain when she comes.
You've ruined the song for me.
Yeehaw. We'll
Best
be
song
coming
that
in your
Spicy
mountain.
sings
We'll
to.
be coming in your mountain. We'll be
Wait.
coming around the mountain when she comes.
Yeehaw! Ladies and gentlemen, the wait is over. Let's get into the next part. Update 2. I just found out my fiancé is a liar, but I'm supposed to marry her in 2 weeks. So it was almost 2 months ago when I made my original post about my former fiancé reaching out to me asking for help in regards to her issue in the family, By the way, of course, this comes from one Tom3934 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I think some people have had decent advice in that thread, and it really helped me clarify my own thoughts on the matter. Basically, my distrust in the sincerity of Sarah's intentions was both probably overblown on my part, as well as immaterial to what I really should be doing as a friend to both her and Marty. In regards to Sarah, I think that it was very apparent to me that her relationship with me wasn't as important of a motivator in her actions as I was selfishly assuming. She had, and still has, to be honest, a huge beef with her sister and feels incredibly horrible about not just her part in Marty's current situation, but how the upheaval has affected her 3-year-old niece. Add on to that a lifetime of family resentment, and I think she was keen to do something, anything, to screw over Evelyn. We fully flipped to the other side.
Oh, wow.
We're helping
She's
the cheater
been
to screw
waiting
her over.
for it.
Just chomping at the bit. Who wouldn't be? Her reaching out to me was more or less because of all the people she knows. I would be one of the most likely to help and offer good advice. I'll admit to being overly cynical of her trying to see the situation to appear like she was making amends to people and working on her issues. But upon reflection, I realized that not everything in her life revolved around me or our relationship. OP looking at that ego. Basically, I need to chill on being distrustful of people when they are finally doing what I would be liking them to do. Lesson learned for anyone who has felt betrayed. You can rob yourself of a positive emotion by living in the past and not the present. A good listen.
That is true. The more that your mind is in the present, the happier you are.
That's right.
Because you need less to be happy in the present. You can just look at a nice rock.
Yeah.
And
Or just replace that O with an A, and you're with Bimbo Wife Mandy. That's a nice rack. When Sam is with Bimbo Wife Mandy, he is always in the present.
I'm focused. I'm focused.
So focused.
I'm
sorry.
Well, actually, no, I'm not focused because like the mind should be focused in the present moment on one thing, and Bimbo Mandy, she's got me focused on two.
See, that's the spiritual experience. You're able to focus on two things at once. It's
Wow.
the only place ever.
Well,
It's like
Guess
Mongolian.
who said that? Guess who said that? Kanye. Kanye said that in one of his songs, and I knew you were about to mention it.
I
What
didn't
did he
even
say?
know
What'd he
that
say?
was a Kanye
He says,
line.
"I love yo," because that means I can focus on two things at once.
I did not even think about that at all.
Yeah, because it's ingrained in you, because that's who you are, because it's what you know.
Yeah. John's favorite
Oh,
artist
you know,
to this day.
My favorite artist ever. Not really. But anyways. As for Marty, given that Sarah has given me the heads up about her sister and parents' plot to try and file a false report accusing him of child abuse, I was 100% set on informing him as soon as I could, regardless of Sarah's desire to be more subtle. That being said, I did make one last-ditch effort to get Sarah to be the one to reach out and do this, as I thought it might help her mend the relationship with her soon-to-be former brother-in-law and help the process of making amends to both him and her niece. As I guessed, her hesitancy, as well as why she wanted my help, was because her parents were more or less fully on board with this plan, so she's having to conspire against the parents. Meanwhile, she's living with them,
Yeah.
by the way. And she wasn't quite emotionally strong enough to deal with any of the potential fallout from them, particularly since she had spent her entire life being bullied by her family. And to make matters worse, she was at their mercy since she was living with them. We discussed it, and I gave her a promise that if this came back to her, that I would get her a place to live if she needed it. She asked me if I would go with her when she faced Marty, and I almost said yes out of habit, but I declined.
Interesting.
I declined. I told her that I thought it would be better for everyone if she faced this alone, and she reluctantly agreed. Do we agree with that?
If she would face this, it's better that she faced this alone.
Because she's basically coming out of this like insane people-pleasing, mind state, and she's like, "Hey, can I just like have your help for you to come with me when I share this with Marty?" And he's like, "No, you need to do this on your own," basically.
I mean, it depends where he is in the relationship. If he's trying to get closer with her, then like it's probably not a good move. But if he's kind of putting a boundary up and say, "Hey, go do your work by yourself, and then maybe I'll think about getting back together with you," like maybe it's a good thing.
Because he told her to do this?
Yeah, he told her because it's basically like it's kind of like a test. Like, "Hey, go do this on your own."
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like I would go with her, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you're thinking through the lens of being a good boyfriend.
That's true.
I think he's trying to feel out whether he even wants to be with this person, and so I think
Can she do the hard thing?
Yeah, can
Yeah,
she
in
do
an
the hard
uncomfortable
thing?
position.
Right.
Yeah, I'm feeling. I don't like this whole like, oh, you need to prove to me, but I see why OP is saying this.
Yeah. I understand where
Pinky
you're
just
coming
says I would have gone, but I get why OP said nah, which I think I feel the same way.
from. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Opie says, obviously, I wasn't there when Sarah and Marty met, but I do know it took place at his parents' house. His parents obviously knew about Sarah's role in covering up for Evelyn's infidelity and that there were some choice words pointed at her. Fair enough. Sarah told Marty about the plot. Then they called Marty's lawyer and she gave a statement. For all the drama preceding it, the meeting was over as quick as that. One thing that Sarah did say, however, was that she was grateful that Marty let her play with her niece. He didn't have to do that, but it meant a lot to her. I could literally hear the sorrow in her voice, to the point where I had a fleeting thought that maybe Sarah is carrying too much of a burden on her shoulders for what ultimately were Evelyn's actions. To be frank, I don't know how to address this or if I should. Yeah, it's like, are we charging the accomplice with the
crime?
The crime.
Yeah, but like, I don't know if that's completely true. I feel like that's walking it back too much because she was actively helping her cheat.
Yeah, and actively trashing Marty.
Yeah. So like that comes with that comes with consequences.
Yeah, pretty big charge of your own. Maybe not
Yeah.
the full crime, but pretty big charge.
Yeah.
I'll try to finish this up quickly since there is a word limit. Several weeks have passed. My offer to a place to stay wasn't needed. Sarah managed to get on her own apartment not long after we spoke, although I did speed up the money I was paying back to her by a couple of weeks to help facilitate this. Anyways, shortly after she moves out, Evelyn finally makes her move. I don't want to get into exactly what she accused Marty of, but it was pretty vile.
Wow.
As in something that would get unalived in prison if it were true.
Can't
What-
believe that's what they chose.
What little just microscopic shred of respect I had for Evelyn is now you accuse
In
that
the trash.
to the father of your children, knowing it's a complete blatant lie. Also, she's not just losing custody, but is she going? Remember, she already went to jail once because she attacked OP.
Ooh.
Is she going to jail again for lying in court?
I mean, about something so serious too. Like, I feel like
There's got to be some sort of
It's a
Think about
crazy
that.
claim.
yeah.
Yeah. Frankly, I was shocked when I heard it because, as despicable as Evelyn is, I never thought she was that horrid, nor her parents, who seemingly were going along with this. As you can imagine, there was an emergency child custody hearing in front of a judge that night as they were discussing the charges. Marty's lawyer pulls out a dated and notarized affidavit from Sarah detailing the plot as well as a recorded interview on a USB stick. Smart. Receipts, baby. That's how you get it done. Now, I would love to say that Evelyn ended up in jail or driven out of town or got her just desserts in some other way, but in truth, we don't know yet. She does have some charges against her from this stunt, and I'm not privy exactly to what they are, but in all likelihood, I don't have much hope that she'll get more than a slap on the wrist, since otherwise our prisons would be filled with acrimonious divorcees. That's true. The prisons would be just filled with Karens and Kens. That being said, the custody hearing did not go Evelyn's way, and now there is a court order in place granting Marty primary custody, and Evan, that's right.
Marty needs a win.
Bro,
Marty needs a win.
my boy has done
jeez.
nothing wrong and been through the fire and the flames. Oh my God. This order will be in place until the divorce is finalized, which might be coming up soon. I think getting caught out so badly has taken a lot of wind out of Evelyn's sails to make this divorce difficult. Marty says that her lawyer has been in contact about discussing a settlement, which is a positive sign. Yeah, there's no way she's taken a bunch from Marty.
No.
Like when they go to court, like, yeah, so you cheated on him and accused him of that?
I feel like she should get nothing. She should get, I mean, like that must, like in custody battle and also in getting like the like payment or whatever. And like that must not be in your favor.
It can't be. And she still has now active charges against her.
Yeah.
So she's going to divorce court, but it's like, yo, you already got these. There's no way.
There's no way she gets anything.
I pray. I pray. But well, actually, they're discussing a settlement.
But she's not going to get much in that settlement.
Probably.
I hope not.
Hopefully, virtually zero.
Well, because I mean, I guess it's it's out of court, so it could be
it could
be as good as it could be anything they agree to. But like, she must know that if it goes to actual court, like, she's screwed.
Dude, what if she's like, that settlement number is too low. I'm going to court, and then tries to pull like basically the same stunt but with a different accusation.
No.
And so she gets
No
it.
way.
And wins.
No way.
Dude.
0%.
Conspiracy
No way.
theory. I'm going.
Put it on.
I'm going absolutely
Balls to
absolutely
the walls.
Hail Mary, guys. I know this is out there. I know this is outlandish, but I'm putting on the hat, and we're gonna see if it happens.
Okay.
So that's pretty much where we are today. As you can imagine, Sarah is pretty much persona non grata with her family right now, and that's not likely to change, even though it is the holidays. She accepted that this would likely be the fact that if she went ahead and gave a statement, so she says, she was prepared for it. But I can tell that even though her family has largely treated her like dog crap most of her life, it still pains her to have contact cut like this. She jokes to me that it's helping me get past my issues with them, but I can tell that it still hurts. A lot of people who know my backstory here probably will be pissed about this, but I rather impulsively offered for Sarah to help me spend my parents' airline miles and travel with me to Australia to visit my brother and his family. A little vacay. I honestly don't think she would accept because she's a teacher and they're not quite on break yet, but she surprised me. My brother has a very large property in semi-rural Queensland with a few bungalows on it. We cleaned out the snakes yesterday, and Sarah and I and our neighbors who are very much looking forward to doing some surfing on Christmas Day. Now, that is a freaking fire Christmas vacation, if you ask me.
Sounds pretty good.
Sounds pretty good. Our relationship is still very much, it's complicated, hence the separate accommodations. But I have to admit that I am feeling better about things in general. My biggest issue with Sarah and why I canceled our wedding was because I didn't understand how she could act how she did with her sister. Now knowing the backstory here between the two, and furthermore, seeing her literally torch the relationship with the fury of 1,000 suns, it's hard for me to be seriously worried about Evelyn's influence on her. It would require a degree of paranoia that not only I don't possess, but one that would probably be qualified as a mental illness. Still, we're both taking it slow, and to be frank, we're in this sort of weird, exclusive platonic relationship. Oh, wow. It obviously can't last, and while Sarah has pretty much made it clear how she would like to resolve the situation, I'm being a bit cagey. So we're not fully back in the relationship yet. It's not like I don't love her, and that hasn't been an issue. I can't say even that it's not that I don't trust her, since most of the reasons why I felt the way I have has been removed like a tumor. It's just that I am unsure about the trajectory of our relationship. I'm not hankering to rush back to the altar anytime soon, and I think most of my friends would disown me if I did, given I just canceled a wedding at the last moment a few months ago. Sarah knows this, and she's largely accepting of it, but even if she tells me that she doesn't care about getting married, I can't help but feel like she secretly does.
Because she's still trying to be people-pleasing and stay in the relationship and say that to make him feel good.
I mean, dude, it's really hard to break your people-pleasing habits. So I imagine, it doesn't happen overnight.
And this is a big one.
Yeah,
that's a big one to not please people with. Facts. Shout out Bimbo Wife Mandy.
Yep.
The most sponsorship I've ever seen you
know.
ever do.
Bimbo Wife Mandy. I guess the best way for me to explain my thinking is that the relationship we had, which had put us on a path to marriage, is done and gone. Maybe we will make another one that will head in the same direction someday, but I'm no longer sure that this is something I want. And it's not just Sarah, it's with anyone.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if we want to ever get married in our whole lives.
Wow. OP is literally calling off marriage in its entirety.
Because he just saw what can happen in a marriage.
Oh man.
He just saw a first-hand front row seat example.
Jeez.
VIP ticket, baby.
That's sad. I mean,
It
you
is
know,
sad.
marriage is a tough institution.
It's true.
It's not an easy one to get behind.
That is very true.
He has like two sides. He has his girlfriend's side and then his brother's side, where like the brother's side has problems, but they work through it. But then Evelyn and her husband, you know, like he has
It's
like
true, but I feel like Evelyn and Marty are probably more seared into his mind.
Yeah, he's
Got
like,
it.
this is what marriage is. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take girlfriends for the rest of my life.
Apparently. Or the mutual exclusive platonic relationship.
Wait, Kimberly Fine says most sponsored episode since the Mercedes. Same motor in the front end though.
golly.
Go on, that's great.
Kimberly Fine, ladies and gentlemen. So, I guess all of the marital problems I've seen in this last year have left a bad taste in my mouth. In any case, whatever future we do have together, we'll have to accommodate these feelings, and I want to be certain that I'm not wasting her time or leading her on. I guess time will tell. Anyways, thanks to the 5 people who are still invested in this crappy story.
Hey, we're invested.
You got tens of thousands of people
We're
invested right now.
invested.
Come on. And there's 3 people in this room. If something else interesting or exciting happens, I'll probably just post it on my profile. It's been a wild ride, but all of the support I've gotten from the broader Reddit community has been awesome. Thanks again. And by the way, if you want the broader support of our entire 1,900 episode catalog, if you want to listen to full audio episodes with stories just like this, go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcasts, go to your favorite podcast app, search OK Storytime, and click play. You'll never have to stop. You'll be listening to our show until you
do
die.
it.
But Sam, last we got to this point, we thought it was the end of the series. Turns out it wasn't. Turns out there was a surprise update hidden in the bushes like Pokemon.
Is there another surprise update hidden in the bushes like a Pokemon?
So, edit. This is on December 7th, 2023.
Okay.
So I just found out something today from Sarah that I didn't know, but I feel is pretty relevant to this discussion. Basically, Marty's lawyer presented a lot more evidence than just Sarah's testimony. They had also had his kids screened and examined by 2 different psychologists within the week, and they had found out about the impending accusations. During the process, some stuff came out, basically that their daughter caught Evelyn and affair partner in flagrant delicito, a.k.a. the spicy sleep, multiple times.
Oh, wow.
The tiny, tiny baby daughter saw her mom hooking up with the affair partner. Multiple times.
Ew.
Multiple times. Her mom was giving her ice cream to not say anything. Marty's lawyer read some from a transcript of one of the psychologist interviews, and, well, I will just say the phrase big wee wee came up. This poor kid. No one deserves a crap mother like that. Now the fact that she only gets court-supervised visitation makes a lot of sense. Bro,
Wait, what?
don't even let her do that.
Wait. Big wee wee.
Like
The
kid was in the room while they were going at it.
And the kid shared that with the like psychologists were like,
Hey,
what did you see?
what do you see?
Oh my gosh.
So Sarah says that it sounds like she just saw them doing it a couple of times. Not that he did anything to her. Needless to say, I think Evelyn is in the royal crap right now. I am surprised. Yes.
Good.
Yes. I'm surprised her parents haven't booted her butt from their home. That is the end of this story.
But
This
it's not,
episode.
because we got more of this story to come right into your ear holes
Oh, yes.
in the next episode.
The
But
next
this
surprise
is,
episode.
This is where this episode ends.
But where the actual decisions of the court case we were just talking about happens.
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.